Will I call this the first reboot episode?
Yeah.
Okay, do that.
It's already recording, sweetheart.
Okay.
Maybe stop it.
Hello and welcome to Is That Canon, our first reboot episode. It's been a while.
Has. Has.
Brian's dying in the corner there.
Just not these cobwebs.
Tink, how you doing?
I am doing well, and it actually has been a year, guys. If you think about it, we literally spaced out in 2021 and said see yous for a bit while we all focus on life, and everything else is grand, I suppose. Can't complain. Cat's crying.
To pretend 2021 didn't exist.
I feel like I'm still stuck back in 2020. Like I'm still 33 somewhere back there. Like I know. That's how I feel
Brian,
right now.
How you doing?
I'm not bad at all. And yes, similar to the last year, it's just a massive blur.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of a binge, you know? You wake up and you're like, you have like little flashbacks and you cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about 21.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got this perpetual feeling of where's my keys.
Yeah.
The bits in between Hawkeye episodes didn't happen.
Oh my god. There is so much in this year that has absolutely just crushed me. And we'll get into that, I'm sure. Won't we, Ada?
Yes. I don't have the list in front of me. What the first thing we're meant to go to?
But tell me
Okay,
this.
I have the list.
You have the list. We have the list.
Yeah.
Ada, before we move on, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am delighted this is back. I've missed this. These chaotic conversations were always good, crack.
Yes. You know what I'm looking forward to? Recording this, getting up and out there, and then looking back on the last episodes and seeing my hairline to the last time I dyed my hair. Because I stopped. Because I just gave up. Like a lot of us, I guess.
Oh yeah, that'll have been me when I was shaving my head as well.
Shaving your head. You just didn't
I was
bother. Well, you were in lockdown, I suppose.
For 2 years, I just got a every couple of weeks.
Like, Aiden,
Like,
the hairdressers is open. You're like, yeah, whatever.
I did that for like 6 months after the hairdresser opened. I was like, I can't be bothered.
I just like,
I
keep
just
getting
never
emails.
have this issue.
Well,
I used to have like hair halfway down my back. I used to have really long hair for all this.
from your back,
end of the
on your
world.
back, down your back.
A little bit down my back. It's long enough.
Jeez.
I used to have to wear a headband to drum.
Oh my god, could you imagine? Actually, if you go on to Ado's Twitter, we'll drop that in the chat or in the in the program later on. But like, have a look. There is actually a picture of him, like full on.
I love that. I love that.
It's a wonderful photo. It really captures you in your moment.
Yeah. Brian, what's the first thing on that list?
New Moon Knight trailer and release date of the 30th of March.
Oh my
Basically,
god,
Moon Knight.
guys. Moon Knight. And the trailer just dropped yesterday. And I'm actually really looking forward to this. This is one of these movies that I've been waiting for in terms of like the supernatural and the history and they're really kind of diving into it because I know Marvel's good with that these days. So I'm really looking forward to what they're actually going to throw into this because there's a lot of stuff that I'm really kind of like, there's going to be like real kind of mess with your mind stuff.
You know what's interesting about this one compared to like in Hawkeye, there's just like one really great run, Matt Fraction, everyone talks about. There's other good Hawkeye comics, but everyone talks about the one great Matt Fraction run. With WandaVision, everyone talked about the Vision series that's based on. There's been like 6 awesome Moon Knight comics.
Yeah. Moon Knight had some great comics.
Yeah, with completely different creative teams, one after the other as well.
Completely different versions of the craziness that is Moon Knight.
So what do you think is going to come from like this movie? Are you thinking that they're going to actually combine a lot of the comics kind of storytelling together, or are we looking at the kind of the origin story a bit with a blend of something else?
It looks like they're doing just one of my favorite aspects of Moon Knight is I feel like I still don't know what Moon Knight is, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Right.
I think it should always be is he crazy or is he actually talking to a god?
Yeah.
That's what I like about
He has
it.
powers. He has powers. That's fine. But he
but
might
do they come
just
from
be crazy
costume?
with powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he just have powers because it's Marvel, or do they come from this Egyptian god? And I love that aspect of Moon Knight, and it seems like they're doing that pretty well. There's one great scene in the trailer where he's like on the corner of an elevator, looks terrified. Like, that's
he
the
saw
Moon Knight I
Khonshu.
know.
Yeah, I like the bit where he's in the, when he's in the car, and
Yeah.
he obviously just changes personality. Another personality becomes dormant. And he's look at the gun in his hand. Like, I thought that was really good. But yeah, I mean, What I thought, the version of Moonlight I really don't like.
Okay.
Jason Aaron has used them in the Avengers recently, and it's straight up like Khonshu is 100% real. Black Panthers, they're like, yeah, Khonshu. And Moon Knight's going around one by one, taking out all of the Avengers and stealing all their powers. And they're like, this is really not Moon Knight. It's like the opposite of how you should use this character. Like, Jason Aaron's doing that a lot lately because he's done something similar with the Phoenix.
Mm.
Like, really?
Yeah, well, he made a spoiler. Echo is the Phoenix. In Avengers. Echo is the Phoenix in Avengers.
You can't be serious.
Yeah.
Wait on. Like, but
is this just because she's a character in the MCU now?
I suspect that Jason Aaron was given the job of putting Echo in an Avengers story, and he went,
"Oh, I have an idea."
He just threw some darts at the board and went, Phoenix.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but yeah, I love the really mysterious. There's like great Moon Knight stories where there's ghosts, and you're like, are those ghosts there?
Or is this just Mark Spector's imagination?
Even the trailer had that kind of like, obviously there was a lot of sound in that trailer. It kept you kind of anticipating the ticking, and it was just this psychological kind of like freak out episodes that he looks like he was just going through, and I'm like, I am on board. Well, whatever you're on, let's go. Like, it's just, it really pulled me into like even looking at how he's going through the museum and even how the reflections react. I was like, this is going to be a real like supernatural mind ghost. Could it fall into the whole Blade situation because he's in London?
Never thought of that.
So yeah, I'm talking about the Eternals. Spoiler alert! There's the spoilers. You never know.
Also,
I haven't seen it. Yeah, it's been 3 months.
Famously, Dracula owes Moon Knight a lot of money.
For what?
It's a meme.
It's a meme. It's a meme.
What? Okay, Jesus.
Which is actually based on the fact that Luke Cage, Doctor Doom, actually does owe Luke Cage money. He goes to Latveria. He's basically like,
I remember
where's my money? Like,
what?
70s
really?
exploitation Luke Cage. Yeah. Goes to Latveria to collect. Like,
whoa, that's serious.
And they just basically took the text from that and just changed it to Moon Knight and Dracula.
There's a meme panel of Moon Knight walking down some stairs. Like, where's Dracula? That nerd owes me money. So I really hope they use that meme in some way, even just as a throwaway line, because it's great. Also the meme of Moon Knight being a ketamine addict is pretty funny.
Yeah.
If you look up, I think it's the comic character or the Marvel character wiki under hobbies for Moon Knight is ketamine.
When was the Moonlight comic actually put out?
Moon Knight's been out for years.
Like,
I think
yonks?
The character originated, I'd say, in the mid-70s. That's a bit of a guess.
Spot on.
So we're going way back.
Boom. Yeah. He didn't really get popular when I say popular, he didn't become a character who premium comic book was the mid-noughties. That's when a bunch of different creators got on board and kind of recreated him. Like, I can remember him, he showed up in, I always bring this up, Avengers West Coast. He was a member of Avengers West Coast for a while.
That was a very important comic.
It really was, and it was considered a crappy D-list comic at the time, but so much stuff now is from this stupid run in the 80s. So he was part of the Avengers West Coast for a while. Then he showed up in street level stuff. You see him hanging around with Spider-Man a lot. But it wasn't until the noughties he got kind of, I think, was it Garth Ennis who reinvented them?
I think that's the run I've read. That's the first one I read was the Garth Ennis one.
Yeah, I think it was. He did like 6 issues, brilliant stuff. And
This
a bunch of other people just kept it going from that point. And like even to this day now, when a new Moon Knight comic comes out, people are waiting to see who's on it. Like,
it's a collection of It's I don't know if this will be kind of like Split. I think that's like that's the whole thing. There's multiple people inside Mark Spector, and who's real, what he actually is, and
but how many are we talking about though? Because like it feels like in every time we look at the trailer, they're always kind of like leveling with 3 or 4.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I mean?
I think the series is doing it differently than the comics, right? So in the comics, there's 3 personalities, and each one of them has a Moon Knight that reflects that personality, right? So there's a millionaire, and the Moon Knight that reflects him that we actually see for just a tiny second in the teaser. He dresses in a white suit with like a very plain mask.
Yeah.
And there's like a mercenary personality, and he gets like a ninja combat version, which is very similar to the main one that you see. Like, so he flies in a copter and throws knight-orangs or whatever they're called. Like,
knight-orangs.
Moon Knight is very directly Marvel's Batman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Jesus.
But in what we've seen from the trailer so far is more like there are 4 personalities, and the really scary personality is Moon Knight. That's what it looked like to me, but it might not be.
But to me, that would be Khonshu. That's the Khonshu personality.
Khonshu takes over, and Moon Knight is
Khonshu is the god that may or may not exist, that may or may not have given him some powers.
Yeah, because it felt like a little bit of like an Indiana Jones moment when you see like maybe it's the personality mark that you see in the actual like Egyptian tomb, what it looks like anyway. So you never know. I suppose we'll have to wait until the movie. Hopefully
I've just realized that Marvel's analogies for both Superman and Batman are just let's give them mental instability and multiple personalities.
Make them like our man, but a bit, off.
Yeah,
because there's another character called the Sentry, who is a directly Marvel Superman, and he's just also has multiple personalities.
Someday we're gonna have to talk about the Sentry in this show.
Oh, I can't wait! I love the Sentry. I love Sentry.
He's a major Avengers character. He's going to show up at some point.
We'll look at the schedule and see what we can fit in. When there's a quiet moment.
I think one of my favorite panels in comic history is the one where Sentry rips Carnage in half in space. It's so cool.
Right, so let's get into we'll go one more thing. Go on before you choke. Go on.
All right. There's one last thing I wanted to say. I think you're right. I think they're doing Midnight Suns set in London.
See, like this is my man.
You're right about that.
Tin hat here. Well, just me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's kick off.
I thought originally when they had him show up in England it was going to be MI13, but I think you're right.
Yeah, Midnight Suns.
And then who else are we missing then from Midnight Suns? So it was Ghost Rider then, right?
It's a bit more fluid than.
Is it?
Like it's
if you're a darkish character, you can show up.
If you have the listing of these issues, come on in. It's a weird application form, I guess.
Cersei. She does magic-y. Well, in the comics, she's way more magic-y than she is in.
Yeah, but is she dark magic-y though? Yeah, she can't. Well, after what we learned.
Pigs, like.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I suppose.
I guess we should move on because there's like trailer section is not even the bulk of this. So, Doctor Strange 2 trailer.
Doctor Strange. Do you? It's fantastic. Doctor Strange 2 trailer, guys. I know this is coming off the tail end of No Way Home, and I'm sure everyone has tin ears. But let's hear it, Ado. What are you feeling? What did you see? Tell me what you're into. Go.
This was a good trailer. It didn't give away nearly as much as Marvel trailers tend to, other than the multiverse is in trouble.
Things got a little bit more interesting, apparently.
Yeah. There's been a lot of real fun rumors about possible other out of MCU Marvel characters showing up.
And now we know that can happen.
There's
so many rumors, though.
Chris Evans showing up as the Human Torch is the dream, in my opinion.
Oh
I
my
think that'll be
god, I was literally just thinking about that the other day.
Like, it'd be
Could you,
so funny.
in his real cocky Johnny? Oh man, I just can't. I'm just.
They could just de-age him. They could just have him look like he did then.
And
I
dye
really
his
want
hair.
there
He's
to be
already
like
brown
8
anyway.
Marvel MCU characters there at the time going, what?
Yeah.
Like when it happens too.
And,
like,
and
why
even
do you
a
look like
Captain
that?
American, like he was showing up because I had the double from beforehand in Endgame. You know what I mean? And just have that moment again, or maybe just 3 of them just be all like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'd be so
yeah,
happy.
Well, think about this. You could have anyone from the Spider-Man movies, anyone from the X-Men movies, Blade, Ghost Rider, Daredevil.
Do you think Hugh Jackman's going to show up as Wolverine in this?
Yeah.
I really want him to show up at least once as well.
Yeah.
There's so many rumors, dude. There's so many rumors. And even ages ago, because I obviously follow him on Instagram and stuff, he posted pictures of what appeared to be something a bit too updated. A nice, long, seductive sleeve with some claws. And I was like, what are you trying to say, dude? And then he deleted it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can find it. I'll find it. Maybe I'm talking shite, but 100% I didn't dream it. But then again, 2021 has been a bit of a blur.
I always think
I recall hearing about that.
I'm going on my phone right now. I'm not being rude. I'm researching.
Yeah.
when someone deletes something, I'm like, oh, there's something to it.
I know, yeah, because I'm like that with a bit of gossip. You know, I'm like, oh, they deleted their tweet. Oh, you know, like.
Yeah, it says so much more to delete something than to leave it there.
Exactly, it's so telling. And then someone else did something else, and I was like, why did you delete that? Oh my god, I have to think. I'm nearly sure I have this written down. Tin hat. I'm gonna have to get like a little emo of a tin hat. Yeah.
So you know the way I'm into fighting games heavily.
Go on.
Yeah, Shuma Gorath. Major character in the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting games that does virtually nothing in Marvel, shows up in the trailer for Doctor Strange 2. He's the tentacle monster with the one eye. And then it turns out apparently might not be Shuma Gorath because apparently there is multiple giant tentacle monsters with one eye. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. He just posted that.
Okay, that's...
It's too telling. I know we could be very wrong and I want it to happen. Maybe it's something to do with a Sony game. I have no idea, but I'm all about it. Doctor Strange.
He said the only thing that would bring him back to do one more movie was if it was in the MCU. He actually said that about 2 to 3 years ago.
This was
when Logan was out, like
August 27th. This was reported in by we got this Twitter.com saying that there was hints of unconfirmed, uncorroborated speculation to see if the rumors are spreading across the internet like wildfire about him showing up as a foe to face off Wanda Maximoff.
No.
Yeah. So
But the reason I say no is because, like, unless he's some form of super Wolverine, what's he going to do to the current version of Wanda?
Let's just read it. Let's just read it.
Fair, he is the guy that consistently kills the Phoenix.
Well, like he's always killing someone. You know what I mean? Like, look at his history. If it's not him, it's fucking Weapon X. Inside Grace. Let me read. Inside Grace Randolph teased that the Sorcerer Supreme solo sequel will see Elizabeth Olsen and Wanda Maximoff face off with characters from the MCU, Fox, and Sony universe. Before tipster Daniel Richtman teased an epic battle against a mystery enemy that had the potential to send fans into meltdown. And before you knew it, Jean Grey was trending as the internet collectively let its mind wander to the prospect of a Scarlet Witch versus a Phoenix showdown. Oh my god.
Well, that would make way more sense.
The ultimate catfight I'd be totally up for.
Well, in the comics, there's an entire very poor comic book series, but it is famous, called AVX.
Yeah.
Which ultimately comes down to Wanda versus the Phoenix, because they're kind of opposite galactic forces, basically, what they represent.
That's one of the last major Marvel comics I read.
It'd be crazy.
Terrible. Sorry, we were talking about not a cursing, but this one deserves it. It's really bad.
It's actually...
It should be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's total.
We're on the internet. Can you stop? Jesus.
I can definitely see a bit where Wanda's gotten to the point where, okay, if we go against her, we're dead. And Doctor Strange is like, maybe I can find
But would
something
we?
to
No.
Yeah.
Think of it this way: which type of Phoenix are we talking about? Because if we're talking about like old, circa 2000s, Phoenix, her having a meltdown moment, versus Wanda having a meltdown moment, it'd be the moment.
What if?
And how would it go? Like, she wouldn't have time to do all this
the
shit before she blows up.
You know the bit in X-Men 3 where Wanda, for no reason whatsoever, kills Cyclops?
You mean Jean Grey? Yeah, you said Wanda.
Yeah. What if?
Yeah. Yes.
What if?
Yeah, because he's in Superman was actually the reason.
Is that the reason?
He had to go shoot Superman.
Oh, right. 'Cause
Yeah,
to me,
that's right.
Annoyed me as a Cyclops fan. That pissed me off.
Yeah, it was a bit much at the start of the movie as well. It's like, all right, well, he's gone. Who's next?
We're at the level now where Marvel could go. Doctor Strange cuts into that.
They can do
scene,
anything they want because they have the Loki universe with spin and
steals Jean Grey.
Come here, you.
And then,
come here, you. Come here for a minute. I tell you something.
And then they've fixed that X-Men universe if they ever want to go back to that again.
They could just fix it. Kind of like they did with Ghostbusters. You just forget about 2016. We can't do that. They already made a few movies of fucking X-Men. We can't just go Days of Future Past. Toss it. We can't do that.
If you cut out everything after X-Men 2, and then you have a really nice universe to work with.
I was okay with the 2000s.
God, that would be great.
Wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, but because we could just cut the fucking branches.
Yeah, it's just another universe.
I don't even know why I hang out with you guys. I enjoyed some.
You port into that particular scene at the very beginning of X-Men 3.
Don't get me wrong, there are good films after X-Men 2.
You just want the story part of it.
The timeline is so just.
It's for the good.
I don't think they were I think they were more
class.
thinking about profit than they were timelines back then.
There's 3 good X-Men films, and it's 1, 2, and First Class.
But if we're going back into the Doctor Strange universe,
I don't consider Logan an X-Men film.
What do you like? So what we're gonna do with the evil Doctor Strange? That's
first of all, I was really happy to see him because, I was really happy because what if? Because there's this thing that happened with the original bunch of MCU TV shows, and I've kind of noticed it happening again, is that the films influence the shows, but the shows don't seem to really
reciprocate the flow. Yeah.
So if you want to make it all feel like an integrated universe, you really need the other direction to happen from time to time. And it's really cool that the people because What If didn't get the same viewership as the other TV programs because there's people who are like, cartoon, not watching.
Oh man. Cartoon. And if you sit there and you're watching this and you're waiting for something else to talk about, you better go off and watch What If. Okay? You need to get
the next thing we're going to talk about.
Because it's the next thing we're going to be talking about. And the fact is we're going to spoil it for you. And the fact is you're going to look like a nerd when this is going to be coming out. So you're going to be like, look, guys, I got the 411. Unless you don't want to be a nerd. But anyway, go on.
You just want to be a nerd these days.
Or a
anyway,
geek.
that was that was the first time that something
geeks bite heads of chickens, nerds are cool people.
Anyway.
Okay. That is true. That's where the word geek came from. And there's a comic book called The Geek. Anyway, so I was just really happy to see that something from one of the series had an influence on the movie stuff. I think that needs to continue.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it makes watching the TV shows much more impactful when you know that anything can happen and it matters.
Yeah.
And that remember when we were all talking about WandaVision and like every week we were like, this is where the multiverse starts. But they actually kept it for a Spider-Man film, in
Selfish
reality.
Bastards.
Yeah,
I'm watching you, Kevin. You think I forgot this year?
Yeah.
I want everyone to know and give great condolences to Tink, who still hasn't been able to watch Spider-Man.
Stuff.
But we did clear with her that we were allowed to spoil the film here
but that's only because she's already spoiled it for herself.
Yeah.
It's not like I wanted it to happen. Okay? I couldn't turn on
Internet's
YouTube.
a cruel mistress.
Had autoplay on my shit. I'd be like, now guys, let's talk about No Way Home. But I'm falling down the stairs trying to shut up things. Screaming at Google like it's a friend in the house. Turn it off! Turn it off! It's awful. But anyway, we can talk about that later. Right. Well, let's catch up on what we actually missed out in 2021 because I know it's a bit of a blur, but I think we all remember what the hell we were watching. Speaking of which, what if?
What if? Loved what if?
Loved What If. I have to say, I felt so sorry and so spoiler alert of how they treated Tony Stark in it. It was cruel at one point. He just kept dying in each episode nearly at one point, and I was like, just stop. He's already dead. You know?
And then at the big finale, they're like, not you, Tony.
Not you.
The other one. I'll take the other one. I don't need you. The thing, this is a really small thing, but the thing that I really loved in What If that really made me happy as an old comic book nerd was Kirby Crackle appearing. And if you don't know what that is, in the 60s and 70s, Jack Kirby, who would be kind of the most influential comic book artist of the time, when he was drawing cosmic energy, he'd use negative space around like black dots to convey energy being moved and pushed around and everything. And the last couple of episodes where everything comes together in What If, when the Watcher and what, Ultron, I guess you call him.
Visiontron? Ultron. Well, it is Ultron anyway.
Yeah, it's Ultron, But when they're flinging massive amounts of energy, it's all animated Kirby Crackle, which I'd never seen before. Like someone had to sit down and go, how do we
convey this? Yeah.
That was really cool. Really
cool.
nice.
I'm going to introduce a massive swerve to this podcast at the moment.
No.
I've only seen the first 3 episodes of What If.
Oh, well, I've just horrifically ruined it for you. The last 2 episodes are really cool.
You haven't, because now
thank you. Good night.
Saying that out loud means that, I have to see that.
So you were one of these people that I just talked about moments ago?
Yeah, I was here going, this is going to be awkward.
Aren't you lucky you're across the bleeding country? I don't know why I put her anymore.
It wasn't even an intentional thing. It was just I fell behind and didn't catch up.
Yeah.
You fell behind.
The last 2 episodes are super worth it.
Oh man, what do you do?
Really good.
Well, we're gonna spoil this for you because fair is
That's
fair.
Fine.
Yeah.
100%, I accept that. I know. I've had conversations with people and I know kind of the way the show goes. So it does to work away.
Yeah. Well, I like that Uatu becomes a character. He's not just look at the things that happen. And there was problems I had with the show early on that turned into plot points.
Well, what do you mean?
It used to really wreck my head where they tell a story and you'd be like, that was a good story, and then something horrible would happen in the universe in the end, and then they'd skip, and they're like, what? It happened in every episode.
It happened, especially the one that really wrecked my mind. If you haven't seen it yet, obviously, Ado, is the Party Tour episode 1.
Yeah, the end of that was complete. I felt was unnecessary because I was like, "This is great. I'm laughing. This is pure happy." Like,
this is great crack. Yeah, and then it was all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna meet up with so and so," and then next thing you know, a huge portal is like, "What's going on?" And then how the Watcher even reacted, and then everyone's just moving on to the next subject. And I'm like, "Is your man not reacting? Like, are we just forgetting about that?" But I understand that it was supposed to be the release of the orders of them. They opted to do it in a certain way, and they took out an episode as well, which is probably the one that's towards the end, where you see Tony, not you. So we could see that episode at some point. But I have to say, one thing I absolutely loved, and it's so sad that I loved this, but I thought it was really well done because it was very heavy. It was the Doctor Strange episode, the one with his hands, being that his heart is now the situation. So losing over and over and over and over was just the whole cusp. I felt was just so heartaching, and I felt so sad for the situation because it was just fair enough. Like with Doctor Strange in our universe, we know it's about his hands, but if it's something that he loves so deeply, with the Time Stone,
I think we might
told.
I think we might be getting some form of resolution to that whole thing in the film because you see in the trailer for Doctor Strange, they show herself getting married.
Yeah.
I wonder if evil Doctor Strange is going to see that or be involved in it, or like she lives somewhere. That was such a thing for that character. She always, no matter what I do, she dies. Like, I wonder if much in the same. Oh yeah, I was about to say something about No Way Home.
We could hold that off until later.
Yeah, hold on to it. Well, much like a moment in No Way
Don't
Home,
spoil
I
it
wonder
for
if
me
that
yet.
character gets a cathartic moment where something happens.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in No Way Home later. So, next one.
Next one.
Invincible.
Oh my god, let's talk about Invincible. If you hadn't seen it, it actually got put up on Amazon Prime initially, but now it's got brought over to, I want to say HBO or someone like that. I have to look up who it was, but they're getting renewed for another episode. I have to look into BL research.
Hopefully it's another season.
Hopefully, I think that hopefully, but if you haven't seen this epic story told Invincible, I know that you probably read the comics, if anyone's read the comics. But giving a quick rundown of what Invincible is about, it's basically a young lad growing up in what looks to be a typical household, but lo and behold, his father's like this big superhero called Omni-Man who works alone, but also works with the Avengers kind of guardians, and for to protect the world and all that in between. But yeah, it looks on to how basically Grayson grows up, or I can't even remember his name actually. That's a funny story, but we'll look into that. Mark. I always Mark Grayson. That's it. So even looking at that, how Mark is growing up as a typical teenager in the US, girlfriend, then getting into his powers because obviously he's half alien because his mother is actually human. So his father's obviously going through the ropes with him how to control his powers, but obviously there's a fantastic twist in it, and I don't want to spoil it too much for people, but I feel like we should just spoil it a little bit. But let's go into the back end of it before I start diving into details. Go, Ado, Brian, go. Tell me what you felt about it.
I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to spoil it.
You can spoil. Spoil away.
This is really Aiden's show.
Superman was pure evil.
Spoiler, his dad's a dick. All superheroes apparently go through these kind of parental issues, but he is super duper you're not talking about evil. He's an alien.
End of the first episode. So shocking.
Oh my god, because it looks like a typical that's what I felt about it. It felt like a Saturday morning show. It was thrown on Fridays, thank God, but it was a Saturday morning show, had that kind of feel of the 90s, that conversation back then, and then bam, straight into violence. It just goes from 0 to feckin' 20 with
I've recommended this show to many people, and everyone was like, "Oh, I nearly thrown this off halfway through the first episode."
Oh,
and
you had
to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you're invested, and that's what I love about it. And it comes with a blend of different characters. They have a demon that managed to escape hell who investigates feckin' murders for superheroes. I was like,
Damien,
and he has a
Dark Blood. What
he
a
has
name.
a hat. Everything looks so cliche, 1930s investigative. He even has the whole notepad. But oh my god, just the storytelling of it was great, man.
That character, the demon one, does the thing that when the 80s cartoon, when the turtles want to be incognito.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that they're huge turtles, they put on a trench coat and a hat.
Yeah.
They're still green.
Yeah, you're still a giant demon in red. Yeah. And he just comes out of the shadows out of nowhere. It's I seen you there the whole time, lad. But it's brilliant how it really tells it, even down to the end, the very end of the last episode, of the last part of the season. Oh, just the sheer bloodshed and the sheer him trying to teach him a lesson about you're just cattle to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't seen it, watch it. Recommend it. Amazing.
It's really good.
It's possibly the best kind of long form thing I watched in 2021.
Yeah.
I was every week I was there. Oh yes. Let's go.
Every week I was anticipating it. Every week I was ready for it. Every week I was telling people to shut the hell up and give me some space because I'm not going to communicate with you. So it was one of the it was definitely one of those. Out of all the stuff we've been watching so far throughout the year, it was definitely one of those. I was I'll definitely have a definite rewatch of this in a year and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it was. And that's what I did. Most of the stuff I could rewatch straight away after a few days, maybe a month or so. But this, I was this is special. I have to hold this off because I want to have that amazing feeling again.
I love that people feel that way about the Invincible. As
Yeah.
someone who I really liked that comic when I first read it. I read it when I was 16. It was one of those. I just really, really liked it, and just the fact that it came out and it overtook the world. Everybody was talking about it for a while. It's like it's so good.
And that's why I was so
delighted.
surprised that it got like stopped on Amazon. I was like, so they're not going to do it. They just cancelled it. I was like, what are you doing?
Didn't cancel, did they?
But no, it got cancelled on Prime and then got moved somewhere else. That's what I understood. Maybe I get confused with Doom Patrol. That's also the one that I enjoyed. That actually got a new season. Well, let me research. But go on, guys. Go
Doom
on.
Patrol is a show that I really, really need to watch. It's really annoying that
everyone says it's good, and I haven't seen an episode.
Man,
Yeah.
like I had the same conversation with your friend Clifford, and he was like, "Listen to me." He goes, "I've never steered you wrong," and he goes, "I know how you feel when you probably start watching it, but just watch it and enjoy it." Brendan Fraser's amazing in it, so amazing.
So I don't know if it'll shock anybody, but Robert Kirkman's quite a good writer.
Is he?
Yeah. Just have you ever read the Marvel team up run that Kirkman wrote?
No, but I've heard it's worth it. Like, yeah,
Really fun.
I will go.
There's a Punisher Blade issue, and it's really good.
Oh, that sounds great. Just the idea of that sounds great.
It's completely not what you think it'll be either. It's just a conversation.
Oh, cool. Between the two guys with guns.
Yeah.
So you'll be glad to hear that Stephen Yeun has given an update on the second season of Invincible, promising it will be bonkers. So what the hell did we just get last season? And possibly better than the first is exactly what's quoted here. So they haven't started.
Yeah, you're gonna say that, like you're not gonna say, we're making another series, but I think it's gonna be pretty crap, so don't watch. Like you're not gonna
right. They said that they haven't started yet, but they'll be beginning soon at some point. And this update was on the 7th of January this year.
Oh, recent.
So very recent. So there you go. The more you know. So yeah, we could be actually getting some more. Well, I don't know what the hell they mean. It's going to be bonkers because I don't. Like I wouldn't.
The story keeps escalating. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it escalates.
It goes to like even for Invincible, it goes to some dark places as well, doesn't it?
Really, it really faces some things. Yeah. He really faces the situation that if Superman was truly a dick, what would he be? Like it really asks the question there. You're like, damn.
They're so smart to have done this in animation.
They
work very well. The fact that it looks like it was drawn in the 1990s as well makes it, it just really works.
Visually appealing. Like it really sucked me in. And if the next season's going to be bonkers and better than the first one, I'm probably going to need a bucket. Because there was a lot of like, even though it was animated, I was like, ooh, that's a bit rough. You can't be like taking a child's face and shoving it through a train.
The first episode, the level of violence in that scene is incredible.
It just goes ultra violent. Like
it's so unnecessarily.
The one scene that I'll never forget was it was him and his dad fighting. He rescues a pilot. The pilot lands, and he's like, "Son, they're nothing to me." And he puts his hand in his face and just crushes him like paper. And I was like, "This is God." But moving on to the next one, let's talk about it. Like, I got to see some Shang Chi. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there are some mixed opinions with this. I've heard, like, some people thought it was absolutely amazing, and then other people were like, "There's a lot of BS in this, and I don't like it." And I was like, okay. So before I dive into my opinion, Brian, tell us.
I thought it was good.
What did you enjoy about it?
Right. Well. Again, I read a lot of Masters of Kung Fu comics, the English reprinting of Shang Chi when I was a kid. So I really liked how it fixed Iron Man 3. That's not first and foremost, but that was an important thing.
They addressed it nicely.
Yeah, sorted. I liked what they did with the Mandarin, turned him into a non-racist stereotype character. His dad wasn't even originally the Mandarin; he was Fu Manchu. The racist stereotype from the 1900s, that was like Sherlock Holmes. You can use him in any property you want, so really like that. I loved that it didn't feel like a Marvel film. Sometimes they did a bit of wire work, kung fu stuff. Really like that.
Oh man, the choreography for it was just amazing.
I thought all the leads were super charismatic. all that stuff was good. Did feel the last third did become a Marvel film, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
it did.
yeah,
There was a lot of
was a Marvel-
CGI.
It was a
yeah,
Marvel film with a really cool aesthetic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the Chinese mysticism aesthetic really looks good in that in that sense.
Oh yeah, it looked very beautiful. Like it was very captivating, and it really
I thought
showed
this
like the two
over-delivered.
different places. You know.
I thought this over delivered. I expected this to be way worse, and I was so like,
Really?
I didn't expect very much from this. I was like, this will be fine. I thought it over delivered. I really like it.
I thought it was great. There was some of it where it's like this is a bit too CGI, and but I thought it was just fantastic. I just loved all of the fighting in it. Like, and there was always something actually that was going on in some
that
kind
training
of
fight.
a lot of the aggression in it, and then there was a lot of the calmness of it, and then it was just the blend of it, all aspects. I loved the bus scene was amazing. Hands
Do you
down.
know what I love about this film?
I love it. It's
A
typical.
man,
I know,
a
but it
man
was
and a woman can be mates without
Yes.
having to be a romantic
yeah. I don't.
thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna have a conversation
loved
about.
that.
But like, were they supposed to be the love interest, or were they not supposed to be the love interest? Because I'm hearing
Maybe
so
they
many
did, maybe they
different opinions.
don't. It doesn't matter. They were just mates.
I would like the fact that we didn't have to include a fucking sorry for swearing, love sorry, it's like fair enough. It's necessary if it really adds to the plot of the situation. Like if stakes were involved, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Like you see that in a lot of situations. If there's stakes involved, but when it comes to like she's been mate and like she'd be best mate. Fine, like, but we don't really need to label that. If they're gonna kiss, then we know they're in a relationship. If they're not gonna kiss, don't sit there and want them to do something. You're weirdo.
There was no sexual tension. There was no
it was
silliness at all. They were just friends, and she was a character that developed and became really good and useful at the end, and wasn't just a silly sidekick that did nothing.
yeah. Well, like, see, I kind of have that kind of same relationship as what they have for fucking Natasha and Barton. You know what I mean? So even they had a friendship, and they were close as well. Like, and you have that close best friend. I have that with my own male friend. So like, it's that kind of platonic love as well, that you love each other so much, you're like family, you know?
Yes.
So it kind of maybe feels like because you're looking out for each other. And I felt like that's the role of what they had in this.
I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was great. She was great. Really funny actress.
I thought she
I
was
loved
really
everyone
funny.
in the main cast. They were all like all on full cylinders. Like the sister.
Oh
great
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
And I love the fact that she like this whole kind of perspective of when you get to see the sister, she's all pissed off, you know, you ran away, all this stuff. And as soon as your one Aquafina comes in, hair like her pants, I was like, oh yeah, she's relatable. She's a badass and she's relatable. I was like, I like this. She's not stuffed up at all. Like, it was nice. You know, because you see a lot of these kind of like big boss characters and they sometimes come across as very stuff up. But it's also disarming as well that they're kind of like, oh yeah, I like your pants. I'm just like you. And you're like,
they should still be human.
Yeah. Tough women don't have to be bitches.
Yeah, tough. Yeah, and that's why I enjoyed about it. It's not going all like, you know me too long. You know what I mean? But like, it was nice to see that like it wasn't a big deal. Like, I don't have to be this typical one-dimensional character. Like, I'm a big boss who runs an underground thing since I was 16, so I automatically have to be a bitch. You know what? She could own horses. We don't know. Like, you know what I mean? It's so it was nice to see that side of it of not putting typical. I know this sounds very weird, but like not putting women in the typical boxes that sometimes are put into, like, oh, damsel in distress. Now, fair enough, Aquafina was on scaffolding, but she was never a trained goddamn killer. And a lot of people I see it online were like, well, she's useless, she's up in the thing. He said, you need to get out. It wasn't her choice. She's dumb in a situation. She just figured out what his family are doing the last half an hour. She just bet against them, and now she's told to get out a fucking window. What do you expect her to be like as a character?
But also being useless was a part of her character, and she overcame that. And
that was the story of it, right? Because they were trying to say like, oh yeah, you're doing so well, like you could do better than parking cars, you know?
Yeah.
And you know that character's going to end up meeting Kate Bishop at some point, and they're going to have a very funny conversation about arrows.
Probably. Probably. Yeah.
Never put that together, but that's true.
That's going to happen. It's going to be great. Yeah. It's going to be brilliant. Like,
I'm there for it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of fixing Iron Man 3, Ben Kingsley was amazing.
Oh my god.
So funny. And it's
And Morris.
weird.
Morris
Oh,
name?
Morris.
Yeah.
That
Weird double ass thing.
chicken flying looking weirdo.
It's the thing that it's the creature from The Simpsons when they try to when they merge the cat and the dog and they get the two heads and the two assholes.
Oh yeah.
That's all I thought of when I saw that.
It was weird. It reminded me of a foot pillow, like a footstool with legs.
Oh yeah.
That's it. It reminded, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the character that was in Beauty and the Beast, the animated version. There is an animated, like, four-legged thing that runs around like a dog and it has a tail.
Yeah,
That's what it reminded me of. I
yeah.
was like, I seen you in Beauty and the Beast, you bad joke.
Oh,
Where's your
Or
face?
it was
The
very
luggage,
cute.
if you ever read any Terry Pratchett. The luggage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing I did enjoy was the weirdness of, like, hearing something behind that gate from the other world. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, what if Wanda's hearing the same thing? You know what I mean? Like, her children help me, you know? And he was obviously, like, going through the stages of what appeared to be long-term grief. And he was like, I can hear my wife. I can find her. I need your help, kids.
Yeah.
That's like...
Is that gate connected to Eternals in any way?
I don't know.
Well,
No idea.
On rewatching both Shang Chi and Eternals recently, I do think this film is tied in heavily to, like, the rings are clearly made by the Eternals. They look like
but
the Eternals.
what if they're the same bracelets that
Things.
was made similar? But then again, like, would it been like a different Eternals that would have left them there? Aliens from
Could have
the
been.
Yeah, because they're always talking about they've been around for millions of years. So if we were talking about, okay, so let's throw in another what if. What if it's another set of bands that they made from a previous timeline? I don't know.
Yeah, it could be anything. But
Could be anything.
clearly there is a.
But they said it wasn't from their universe, though. It's not from this universe. Just saying, not from this universe.
Did it not mean galaxy?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to rewatch it. Comments.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it. I can't. I know they said it was old beyond reckoning, which also leans towards the Eternals. Like,
Yeah.
Thanos could have been, because they've established Thanos as an Eternal now. He probably just left it there. Okay, yeah.
And now that we have your man Harry Styles in the mix, with your man Pip, Arrows.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
Arrows.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Harry Styles.
Spoilers.
Yeah. He's like, what?
We'll talk about
Forgot
Eternals
all
in a bit.
about that.
We'll talk about Eternals in a bit. Let's keep it back on to Shang-Chi. But how many Patty Sevens would you give out of this?
I'd probably give it 7.5, 8.
7.5, 8.
Yeah.
I think it's nothing special, and it's not like a perfect film. But I thought for like a kung fu superhero movie, I thought it really over delivered.
For like mid-range Marvel, it was really good.
Yeah,
it's a great B tier Marvel movie.
It felt to me that I didn't have the rewatchability for me to dive right in to be like, I'm dying to rewatch this very soon, or put it onto the bank as I like for the Invincible one. So yeah, I'll have to go with a Patty 7.5 for me. Patty 7.5. But yeah,
so was Eternals the next thing we?
No, we're going out of that universe. We're getting out of that universe, man. We're going over to DC and talking about the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
We're just gonna forget about the other one apparently.
James Gunn can make anything fun.
He can, from what I've seen recently.
Like,
kind of.
Man, that guy's great. That's all I'm gonna say. That film, might be the biggest gap in quality from a film to its sequel I've ever seen.
Would you call it a sequel?
Oh, it absolutely is. The first scene has the entire original cast in it
being killed.
Just getting wiped out. And now we start
again. It is a sequel. But it's like maybe the biggest jump in quality a sequel has ever had.
It is.
It's so fun. It's so good.
It was so chaotic at the start. It was just so sad to see your man. What's his name? Oh, from Firefly.
Oh, Nathan Fillion. Yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh,
I was
sad about Boomerang.
His arms. It was the. I was like, what is he doing? It's like he's the detachable kid.
Arms are so shit.
His arms are just like that. And he's just getting hacked and he's lying on the ground like
They're like kicking his arms.
Yeah. The
So
second it
weird.
happens, there's a character in One Piece called Buggy, and that's Buggy's powers. He can detach his body parts and use them independently. Buggy's a joke character. And I was just like, oh god, another one of these.
I was like, the one thing I will say that annoyed me a little bit was the whole Peter Davison kind of thing. And he's like, hey guys, I called you in. I was like, oh, this feels so, like, not him. Like, he's great crack as a comedian. It just felt like they just threw him in there for the laugh, just for the sake of killing him off. Like, somebody said,
Oh
look,
yeah.
you
They
owe
definitely
me
did.
this. Like, it felt like someone owed him a favor to be there, you know?
Mm.
Still. Like, it was, I have to say, I love your man that... I love Polka Dot Man so much about his mother. Sorry, but funny. I just can't. I just can't. And it's the scene in the club or the bar that they're in dancing that really like it. He's like, and just all of his mass. Like, it just couldn't.
His powers are horrifying.
They're
Yeah.
horrifying. I didn't expect it because I was like, oh, like, what does he do? And, like, everyone's building up like he's a psycho weirdo. And as soon as we're seeing in this, like, okay, like, there's something psychotically wrong because his man wanted superheroes and fucked up his sister. Like, it was just everything. And it was just layer to that moment all the way to the end. It's your mum! I couldn't. Fantastic. Fantastic. Absolutely. I was so sad. Spoiler alert. So sad for his character towards the end, but like, hands down, amazing.
Nice cameo for Taika Waititi as well as Ratcatcher 1.
Yeah.
I
That
thought
was
it
a
was
really
very sweet.
nice scene. That guy can act. That guy can do everything.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, he's just versatile. Swiss Army knife. He just blends into everything, but I thought it was very good as Ratcatcher's dad. The original Ratcatcher, if you will.
The final scene where they kill Starro is almost beautiful. Like, it's so well shot with the
You mean when they
music.
pierce the eye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, again, this film really impressed me.
Yeah, it was very impressive. It was a bit long for some parts of it for me, where it was like,
We'll talk about a film that was a bit long.
Well, yeah, we will. But it was pretty nice. All in all, I was really just captivated by a lot of things. I don't know what the story is with Harley Quinn. Would she come back doing another Beckin Harley Quinn anytime soon? What's her face?
She's a license to print money, of course she
Maggie.
will.
Maggie? Yeah. Margot Robbie. I was like, yeah.
They really do have a gold mine with her if they do it right.
But do you see any kind of potential of a universe coming out with this side of it?
Well, it's still technically, the DCEU is still technically there.
Yeah.
Like,
because we were already getting like a Peacemaker situation out of it, right?
DC are just letting people do whatever they want at the moment.
I wonder if Flashpoint if they're gonna become stricter with Flashpoint, or is Flashpoint the point where they go, we don't care anymore, just everything's canon, just go nuts.
I don't know. It's not called Flashpoint Crisis, so I don't think it's going to kill a multiverse or anything. I'm not allowed to kill a multiverse unless they use the word crisis, I thought.
It's just the rules.
I think that's... But then again, what's his name? Weasel. He didn't die, man.
No, Weasel's alive.
He's alive.
Weasel's going to show up in Peacemaker, isn't he?
He has to show... Okay. Yeah, I'm getting excited. It's happening.
We need to talk about it. John Cena's a star. We need to talk about it. John Cena.
Do you want to talk about Peacemaker right now? Is it too much? All right, cross it off.
We can't. These are too heavily connected.
Okay, fine. We'll cross over. Go on. Flesh it out.
Peacemaker was great in Suicide Squad, and then this show happened, and oh my god, he's good.
Yeah, like it's. One friend of mine said on Facebook perfectly, I'm very convinced that John Cena just enjoys to be naked. I was like, right.
Well, he's used to it.
You know what I mean? I was, I can't get over the fact of how committed he is to this role outside of this goddamn show.
Yeah, he walks around in the suit, like, apparently, all the time.
He goes to Jimmy Kimmel and whoever shows up, like, he has to show up, he just shows up as Peacemaker.
Yeah.
He did a show, I think it was Jimmy Fallon, or was it Kimmel? One of the lads anyway, one of the gyms, where like he'd bet his helmet and he had to give him the helmet. He was like, great, they're going to have to make another one now. And I was like, ha ha ha. And then I seen the episodes, I was like, ha ha ha.
Because that's actually a plot, is that there is multiple helmets.
Yeah, and I was
Okay.
like, is he committed or is he committed? Like,
John
I
Cena
know
lived in character for like 10 years.
Yeah.
you couldn't see him though. That's the problem.
Ah, it's so
He
good.
has
That's good.
such comedy chops. Like he's
Yeah.
really good at comedy.
I mean, I have
Yeah,
to
it's,
say,
it's
just first episode, man. First episode, where was it? Like, this is gonna make him break it, and it was nuts.
It's one of the strongest first episodes to any comic book media I've ever seen. Genuinely, I thought it was incredible.
what amazed people thought. Like I saw people on Twitter who were like, "Who knew John Cena was so funny?" Because they're like, "Have you seen Southpaw wrestling?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember his gimmick when he was a rapper?"
Oh my god,
Like,
yeah.
this man
See-
is pure
see,
funny. Like,
John Cena's problem is he had like 6 or 7 years of really bad writing,
Yeah.
and now that he's like, oh, when you let him go, that Southpaw regional wrestling's so good.
Like, this is what the problem is in my head. I was saying it to himself there the other day. It's amazing how we could just see two opposite sides of a situation. You have, Dwayne The Rock Johnson heading off to Disney, all these fantastic movies, very wholesome family, Then John Cena's banging a chick. Knew it. And I'm sitting there going like, how did we get so far between the goals? Like, wow, it's just like, I couldn't get over it though. I still can't.
one funny thing about Peacemaker that occurred to me was like, it's like the dark reflections of Hawkeye, right? So they're both about this. One's about a villain who thinks he's a hero. The other's about a hero who thinks he's probably a villain.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right?
struggles with it.
They both struggle with
both
it. Right?
struggle, yeah.
They're both really struggling with the fact that someone they worked with died on their watch, right? Both of them are encountering a new sidekick who will not leave them the hell alone. And they have animals.
And they're both involved in that person's death, but opposite fucking ways. As in one person caused the death and one person tried to prevent it, and the other person killed himself anyway because it was on their.
Both of them think they did wrong.
And both of them struggle on what they did wrong in their lives.
Yeah. It's just funny that when I was that occurred to me when I was like they're like dark reflections of each other, and they're both amazing. Like so.
Yeah.
I'm saying everything's great. There was things I watched that I didn't like this year, just to be clear.
Okay, no one's judging you. Judge him.
I do feel like the list we put together for the when we came back was like, what are we excited about?
Yeah, what do we want to talk about?
Yeah.
I just noticed I forgot to put Black Widow on the list, which goes to show.
Oh, boo! Sorry, Scarlett. Sorry.
The Black Widow created a good character in Hawkeye. That's basically all that did.
That's its main contribution. Is it's created a great character that I love now.
Yeah.
I do hope what do you call him from Stranger Things gets to come back.
Oh yeah. Oh, he will be. Everyone loved him.
He was so funny.
Yeah.
But back to Peacemaker. What's his name? He's Hopper in Stranger Things. He's Red Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Yeah, how could you forget about Red Guardian? He was an amazing character. Oh my gosh.
I was talking about how amazing he was. I just couldn't remember his name.
Anyway, back to Peacemaker before we sidetrack again.
Having the T-1000 as his dad was really funny.
Yep.
I thought it was hilarious. The moment he walked in to see his dad, the Elfler neighbors just sitting there looking at him, and he's trying to be nice because everyone just told your man, the janitor, just told him like everyone thinks you're a racist piece of shit, and he goes, "You need to kill more white people." I was like, I just couldn't believe it.
And when
to be fair, the next person he kills is white.
Yeah. When you know about the history of how Peacemaker got made, that the alt-right started attacking James Gunn, which led to him leaving Disney for a while and signing up with DC. And he spends the entire first 3 episodes going,
so like it was just as Dazzy's getting arrested for the car, and they thought that was a good idea, and I was sitting there going like, why do you think that's a good idea? and the effing and blinding to the girl that was trying to arrest them, and like all of the discriminations everywhere. There was discriminations everywhere. Couldn't believe it. It was brilliant though. It was funny as feck. Oh Jesus. My God.
When he got to jail and you realized, oh, that's what he was.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Like,
oh God.
What are these elders like, or whatever the hell?
Like,
Can't.
Oh no, it'll be a wizard. It'll be a wizard.
Wizard, that's what they call them, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh man, I remember listening to a podcast on about the way they rank those cunts is so funny.
It's a. Wouldn't it happen to have been Behind the Bastards? Would it? Because I heard a very funny podcast about the same thing. How they rank.
I don't know, and it's just on about how they're just larpers. All they want to do is be fantasy characters and hit black people.
That's
pricks. But
it must be so. It must be so sad to be so insecure. That's how I see these people. But you must be so sad to be so insecure that you're like, I'm just gonna make up shit to feel better. We're all gonna die. No one cares.
For a character like Peacemaker, who is objectively just a piece of shit.
Yeah, but
they make him so sympathetic so quickly.
And I felt so bad for him. Especially when he was trying to get laid. You know what I mean? And I also felt bad for my girl as well in the bar. Like, she just wanted to have a beer, and I hear her barking. But like, I just saw, he's like, it's been 4 years, I haven't been physically with someone. I was like, my heart does actually genuinely go out to you. I was like, that is terrible if that is the case.
Oh, it's real funny.
So are they going to release another 3 episodes the next time around? When's the next 3 going to drop?
I think it's one at a time. Then that's their way of doing.
See,
things.
like, I think they're just copying from the likes of what like the likes of Marvel been doing, like the Wanda episodes, or even like the What If episodes or whatever, when they start pulling 2 together or 3 together at a time.
I think everything on HBO Max is you get 3 to start with.
Oh, that's nice. And then 1 a week after that. How many episodes do you think?
That's Amazon's thing. Amazon does that.
Then
I don't know then.
I can't. There's too many streaming services. I may as well sign up to cable TV all over again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Amazon definitely does the 3 episodes and then 1 a week, because that's what they're doing. That's what it will be the time. HBO Max might be a 3 at a time, because that's.
I'm gonna research it. We're gonna research it real fast, because this is always gonna be a question. I'm sure someone's gonna be lazy enough to say the same thing and be like, God, I wish they would have Googled that already. Okay, so like, Peacemaker.
I think Young Justice, you get 3 episodes at a time.
Episode release schedule.
Everyone should watch Young Justice.
I haven't seen it.
Probably better than everything else I'm talking about tonight. It's just amazing. No, actually, it's not better than Peacemaker. But it's great.
I've seen the first 2 series, Young Justice. It's amazing. It's supposed to get better.
So. Okay. Oh, it's great.
So the next episode will drop on so it's gonna be so it's gonna be single episodes all the way down. So the next one's going to be January 20th. Then a week after, a week after, a week after, a week after. We have 8 episodes.
8, good.
8.
I was worrying it'd be 6 and we'd be done.
It's a great length for it.
It is, and I think a lot of people are like favoring Wednesdays to be their episode drops on Fridays.
Well, Marvel
was Fridays for a while, and then it was Loki was like, haha, Wednesdays.
No, I think they've settled now. The Disney Plus big show day is Wednesday. So that's when Book of Boba Fett comes out as well.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm still grinding with Boba Fett. We have to talk about that another time, I guess.
I'm gonna wait till the show's over. I'm not. I suffered watching The Mandalorian episode to episode. I want it all in one go.
Oh wow, really? No, I've been doing it episode per episode and just taking it easy, trying to stretch out what little I have left to watch. Apparently, because I keep hitting the end credits.
I think when I go into Star Wars land, I want a big chunk of it in one go.
I suppose. Right, what's the next subject we're moving on to?
Yeah, I don't think we have too much to say about this one. Titans. I think I'm the only one who's seen it.
I haven't watched Titans since season 2.
Yeah, okay. So season 3 was out. They do Death in the Family, which is where Robin Jason Todd gets beaten to death by the Joker.
Who's the Joker in
it? You never see this.
You never see
it. Thing, and you never. The Joker is active all the time in Titans, but you never actually.
And even like with Batman in it, you never see Batman really.
Yeah, you don't see you see Bruce Wayne, but you never see.
You never see Batman.
Yeah, you might see the cape sweeping by or something, but you
Okay.
never actually see him. Season 3 was okay. Thought it was a bit too long. Started getting really annoyed. They do this thing where spoiler, Robin turns out to be a bad guy called Red Hood,
Oh no.
and it's like you know the redemption arc is coming, and it's about
Wait.
4 episodes too long. Like,
Oh really?
Yeah.
Do
Stretch
they
out
do
that
Death in the
long?
Family and then right away Red Hood happens?
Ah no.
Okay.
yeah, instead of this being years and years worth of motivation for other characters, which is what it was in the comics,
Yeah.
they go straight
Crazy.
into
4 episodes of it.
And it lasts 4 episodes.
So, well, no, the series is about 13 episodes, but like Death in the Family as an arc is like 2, and then you're into Red Hood straight away.
That's a bit mad.
How do they do?
It is.
Do they do the actual death scene well? Because that's a pretty that's a scene that will probably translate pretty well to the screen.
Yeah.
Because they
It's
did
kinda
recreate
rushed
it in
into
the animation for it years ago, which
Yeah.
they did it really
Yeah.
well then, and then bring the Red Hood story for the animation for Batman, that arc of it. That was good.
I think my problem might be that I find Jason Todd very unlikable in this.
I found him unlikable altogether, to be
In
honest
most
with
media?
you.
To be fair, he's an unlikable character. That's why he was killed in the first place.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm
Well,
not being
yeah.
mean, but I'm just being like, this is me preference. I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah. So like, it's not like a hit. Like, I mean, I knew what was happening the second he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go hunt down the Joker on my own. I'm not waiting for Batman." And I was thinking,
You're like, sure,
dead."
sure, you're dead.
Yeah, you are dead. I know how
What do you
this
think?
goes.
What do you think of crowbars, Jason?
Yeah, exactly.
It is recreated. It is a crowbar.
Is
like,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least they
the
kind of kept the
difference-
consistent a little bit, you know.
The difference in this is they have Batman go and kill him, the Joker, after. It makes him. It actually makes him snap,
Oh.
and he gives
That's
up.
a brave move for a show that doesn't have Batman in it.
Yeah. Well, Bruce
Well-
just comes in. We never actually see that the Joker's dead. He comes in and he drops a crowbar in front of Dick Grayson.
And it's
says,
assumed at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. Well, he says, "I killed the Joker. Like, I've done it, and I'm not Batman anymore. You have to look after Gotham. I'm out. Cheers." So
Oh, that's
Titans
kind of
in.
interesting.
Mm,
Well, that's kind of interesting.
yeah. So it's a
Could you
bit different.
imagine-
But
Yeah.
I just killed a guy. I'm on the run. See you later with me millions.
Oh,
You're like,
to be perfectly honest, that's the only way I would like. I think if Batman kills someone, he has to quit. Like that's kind of the way it
yeah,
works.
he's not Batman anymore if he does that. Like,
I suppose.
so
Yeah, unless you're counting 90s films.
yeah.
It's different.
But do you know what? If you've got a few hours to spend, there's definitely work. Like, I mean, Crypto is in it. There's a super dog in it.
Really?
Yeah, Connor and Crypto are both in it. Connor Kent, who's one of the Superboys.
He's the best
Super
Superboy.
He's
boys.
the best Superboys. Yeah, he's half Lex Luthor, half Superman, and they play that up in this series. They're like trying to figure out what a villain would do, and he goes, just let me be Lex Luthor for a minute. What I do would be so they play up. He's not.
That's
pure.
pretty fun.
It is fun. That's fun. Yeah, but it is still very, very grim dark, and sometimes you're just like, oh my god, just.
I might have
Have a
to
bit of crack,
get
like.
back watching it again for the sake of A, I'd like to catch up, and B, there's really nothing left to watch anymore because I'm like, when is it fucking Wednesday?
Well, it's all on Netflix, easy
Yeah.
to watch. So,
No excuses.
But that's all I've got to say, really, about Titans. So,
Okay.
If you want another show that has a better Connor Kent in it, Young Justice.
I'm just,
Young Justice, yeah.
you can
he's
say that
great.
after everything we're discussing today, if you wanted to. Like,
I love Young Justice, man. It's such a good show.
Slipping in every 2 seconds.
So much of my knowledge of the DC universe comes from that show. Because I got a lot of gaps with the DC universe, but that show falls
Yes.
on a lot.
DC's harder to keep track of than Marvel. I feel
It's
like there's
so
so many spots
much.
between you. Discontinuity.
Yeah.
You can't just rest on your laurels the way you can. with
Right.
Marvel.
Right, and who are we on to next? Eternals. Are we banking this one?
Eternals.
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 A
Eternals.
tale as long as time.
That's
You
a
know-
long ass film.
So, first of all, where did you watch it?
In a cinema.
Cinema.
And what was the cinema experience like, boys?
Horrific.
Really? Did you
Someone
see
was
in
coughing
3D?
right behind me.
Oh, coughing. Okay, of course, yeah. I was like, oh, coughing, and then I thought, oh yes, of course we're in a pandemic. I'm like, oh yeah, I suppose. Bioweapon.
People talking all around this. People had forgotten how to be in a cinema. But there was someone directly behind me coughing on me
Oh
in
man.
a pandemic. Like, what are you doing in the cinema, dickhead? Really?
Yeah.
Like,
And he's like,
so
I
to
really
be
want
fair,
to see it.
Yeah. No, I didn't particularly enjoy Eternals, but
Yeah.
like considering
The environment.
the environment, I might owe it another watch. You know,
And
I love Gemma Chan. I loved
yeah,
Humans,
humans.
Well,
Humans. I think.
the
Yeah.
cast of the show, this movie is amazing.
Mm.
It was a big
I
cast for
saw
the
it.
movie.
I saw it in almost optimal cinema conditions.
Really?
On your own.
No one was
Yeah,
no one was coughing, no one was talking or forgetting that they're in a cinema. There wasn't like a
no,
nod diddle idle, diddle idle, diddle idle. No, there wasn't.
there was no phone ringing. There was almost no audible conversations. I was I had 3 seats at least to each side of me free.
Nice. Was that because of like distance rules or just convenience?
I went on my own on a Sunday morning
Nice. But it was
and
packed
booked my seat
enough.
ahead of time.
It was packed enough
It
theater.
was kind of third capacity maybe. I have found booking to go at 12 or 1 on a Sunday is the best time to get.
I'm starting to look at spending more time at the cinema during that time than going later on a Saturday or something like that, because I found the wonderful moment, that sweet moment where it's like I'm away from other people and I've never felt so satisfied in my life.
Yeah.
But what do you
100%.
think of the movie, Edo?
I thought it was a lot of fine.
A lot of file?
It was a lot of fine. It was very, very fine. It was the 6 out of 10iest movie I've seen all year.
And what about for you, Brian? How many patties would you give it?
To be fair, I'd probably give it about 6 out of 10 as well.
6 patties out of 10. Jesus.
Yeah. So
it was,
when I say I didn't really enjoy it, I also didn't have a massive negative reaction to it.
There is nothing bad. There's nothing like objectively bad about the movie. All of the actors show up and they do a pretty good job, but the script is uninspired. The film is too long. I don't know. Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
I do like that Marvel made a objectively pro-abortion movie. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Where like, we're gonna have to kill the baby, and I'm like, what?
Yep, that's what this film was. This was Marvel's pro-abortion movie.
It's crazy. My cinema experience, on the other hand, is probably well opposite to a lot of yours. I went early. Obviously, I tried your method. Went early. I had it booked in where there was only 4 or 5 other people there in the whole cinema. And because I'm in the Netherlands, we get a break of 10 minutes between a movie. So at the part, spoiler alert, where they're at Babylon and Druig and Icarus have a bit of a whatever, and they're like, okay, well, go off and do your own thing. And obviously it changes timeline then. That's where they broke the movie. I was like, it was perfect. So when I actually enjoyed the pace of the movie because of the cinema. But when I watched it the second time around, yeah, I thought it was quite long in parts, but I love the fact that
an intermission would have helped a lot.
I have to say, an intermission helps. Like, I've done it during, like, John Wick's and a lot of movies I've seen Marvel-wise as well, even Black Panther. And they have it timed down to, like, it's a quiet part or a certain kind of turn in the act, if you will, to have it just break there. So it was perfect. Like, went in on time, everybody, no talking, no coughing, everybody had their space, everybody had their candies, 10-minute break, back up again, start up the movie. It was wonderful. I will agree, I give it a 7 patties out of 10, I guess. On the account that, like, second time was too long.
I do like the fact that canonically the Irish accent existed in the Marvel universe before Ireland did.
And it was a Dubliner! Come on!
I think that's pretty funny.
I was sitting in the cinema and I was literally just listening away and I was like, you're my kind. Not like Irish. Not just Irish. I was literally just sitting there like, well, like lying back, and I was just sitting there going like, he's a fucking tub. Like, I was just like, I was well tuned in. I was like, boop. I was so happy.
I think I said it to you before. I love the fact that, like, when the Eternals are faced with colonialism, it's the guy with the Dublin accent that goes, I am not having any of this crap.
And I was literally breaking my shot, and that's before obviously the interval. So I was sitting there in my element coming out during the break. I was like,
yeah, Drew.
And if you don't understand the reference, get a history book. But anyway, but it was just that kind of like, yeah, if I was in his position, obviously I'd have like, here, leave it out. Like, I'm not having this. I'll take control. Which was really kind of, in a way, it's a little bit weirdly special to us to hear that kind of that kind of mentality, because that's exactly how Irish people have
Well,
gone about
yeah.
it, as in taking the matters into their own hands and be like, right, I've had enough, I'm just going to go ahead and fix this myself. Plus the history side of it, of course. But-
Kingo's valet was probably the highlight of the film.
Oh, I wish I could have seen more of him. I was hoping that he would return towards the end of the chaos. Yeah, he didn't return.
Karun was his name.
Karun, that's it.
He was genuinely funny.
Oh, I like Drew McCarry's thing as well. Seemed
Yeah.
really genuine or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like them.
Yeah, the McCarry and Druid kind of relationship.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I don't know what this is. I don't want to hear any more about this. I thought it was very sweet and very like
Just
endearing,
seemed nice.
caring. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
I was like, I
it
literally
was-
turned to himself and asked him why he didn't treat me like that, and he just came out. Terrible.
The film
Will
was
you not find
really-
your green tablet somewhere?
He knows exactly what he did. Anyway, go on. Go
The film
on.
was really impressive looking. It looked beautiful.
Yeah,
But
it was very weird with its storytelling. Like,
yeah, I thought the script was just kind of there.
yeah, like a lot of it, like the part where the atomic bomb drops, right? And obviously it's like, I'm never gonna help humans again. Next thing you know, he has a fucking family. I was like, what happened there? I was like, where did it like all give him another chance? I felt that was a bit weird. Like you just said 2 seconds ago, well, back in the 50s or 40s or whatever, that you're like, I'm done with humans helping them, and now it's like, yo, Fastos, what are you doing, yo?
Oh, well, he doesn't have to do
What
science to
happened, man?
marry him. He doesn't have to be doing science to marry him.
Yeah, but like it's not even science, and I thought it was like helping people, you know. He was done at being part of human like development, I guess, or whatever the hell. But it was just kind of like that kind of weird narrative. It's like next thing you know, he has a
You
kid.
could say that maybe the husband helped him.
Maybe the husband seeked him. Maybe we could like. I'm so selfish in thinking the other way
He
around.
needed the help. We didn't need the help. He needed help.
I liked it. I liked the whole relationship because it was so like on point with a lot of people's relationship. It's like, what would your mother like? What would my mother say if she's seen this? Like I say it to him. It's like, what would my ma think of this? They'd be like, yeah, I suppose I am a bit of an idiot if I didn't do this. Like it was nice and relatable in that sense of it. It was nice to have that kind of family aspect to it instead of seeing like these people who are single and not involving themselves with humans too much. Except for obviously Druid was looking after like a whole like generations of one civilization. You know what I mean? So it was interesting to see that at least there was some kind of family outside of just the circle of the guys of Eternal. So it was different when I think of it now. Yeah, no one else really didn't have too much of a human family relationship except for Cersei's trying to feck off with the Black Knight. But he doesn't count. He doesn't count.
Are we going full blown spoilers with this?
Let's go.
On Eternals, yeah.
It's been 3 months, baby.
How far did you see the Icarus heel turn coming? Because oh my god,
Almost instantly.
I called that so
Yeah.
quick. That also might have been the thing that hurt the film. I was like, I'm just going. So when's this happening? The whole time. Your man, that actor, has that look of a guy who's going to turn evil at any time.
Yeah, but he does. He does. He has that like, how's it going? It's like, yeah, I can see you going sideways at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
You're gone.
it's exactly what Hawkeye subverts that completely by getting one of the evilest character actors ever, puts him in a role that makes you think he's going to be evil,
Plays a character who is historically a villain.
and he's a villain in the comics, and it turns out, he's all right.
He has a family, you know, raises a couple of kids, going to the, you know, go to
Jack
a
was one of
musical.
my favorite surprises this year.
Actually, yeah, we should just segue into Hawkeye.
We
here.
should segue the thought. Yeah, I suppose.
Eternal's has enough talk.
God knows.
So yeah, Swordsmaster When, a series of his own.
Can't get over
I
that.
love him.
I love him. I love him so much that he was so hard to read if he was part of this. And that's what I enjoyed about it. That he was too loving and too cheesy. I was like, yo, this is 101, man. Like he's up to no good. And it turns
You're
out
like,
he's like
"This
all
guy's-
right.
He's too perfect. He can't be this nice.
No, not even too
It
perfect,
just
too
is.
dopey. You know?
If you don't know the character in the comics, right, he starts out as a villain. He actually teaches Hawkeye how to be Hawkeye. That's
Oh.
his.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's almost like his adopted dad. but he does turn face eventually. Like he becomes a good guy
Yeah.
and becomes a plant and the father to the celestial third coming of Jesus.
Let's not go down that road
Yeah.
yet. Let's
Comics
just
are
bring
weird.
it back. Bring it back a little bit. Let's come back to me.
And I think he sleeps with Mantis at one point from Guardians.
Bring it back. Bring it back again.
There was a strong moment watching that last episode of Hawkeye where I basically shouted at my screen, "Get that man a costume!"
Get that man a costume.
Yeah.
I have to say, it was just fantastic in terms of just getting out onto the road, and he was just whipping away. Just in his element, like living his best life. I said it to himself on the couch. I was like, that man's living his best life right now.
He's having so much fun.
He's
getting to
getting
use his sword.
Yeah, because he shows up at parties. Like he showed up to sit down for dinner. This thing sticking out. The auction house.
Yeah.
This.
All I want is for this to be useful once.
It looks good over the fireplace, but one day he was living his best life at that moment. I thought it was wonderful. As the cosplayers, I felt it was really cheesy, but it kind of fell into the whole like how the air of it was throughout every episode felt cheesy, and that was the one thing I was crying to you guys about the whole time, wasn't I? I was like, please God, it doesn't turn into this Disney butterfly bollocks. I can't. I need to have gritty.
It was Shane Black meets Die Hard in the best way.
Yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, I agree. They did take a lot of little things from Die Hard, especially.
It was really funny. Midway through that show coming out, I went and saw Die Hard in the cinema.
I watched it at Christmas.
Yeah, they use songs from Die Hard and Hawkeye all the time.
The one thing I loved about it was the buddiness of Kate Bishop and Elena. I thought was brilliant, especially in the elevator, and she's like, she brushes all the things out. She's like,
if those two weren't the center of the upcoming eventual Young Avengers project, they are now.
Yeah.
After people's reaction to them, like, they're so cool
together. They're
like,
too cool together, and it makes sense like for them to gel so well together, because they're both kind of that young, kind of like, I don't know, she's still kind of figuring out herself, and then she just came back from 5 years ago. She has no idea what the crack is now, and now her sister's gone, and now, everything's up in the air. I felt it was, in a way, I felt it was kind of like they threw in something to keep us hanging on, because some of it was getting a little bit dreary. Like they threw in a little bit of Yelena to give us like, okay, got to keep them hung on. Then they threw in another little bit of Yelena, and then threw in another bit of Echo. And then they threw in at the last moment, Kingpin. And I was like, that's what it felt like. It felt like they had to feed us to keep us in a little bit each time. Because if they didn't have those elements, I don't think anyone would stick around if we were just talking about Kate Bishop and just, I don't know, fucking Hawkeye on their own.
I'm going to respectfully disagree.
It felt like that for me for little bits of it. Maybe because it was too much cheese and I couldn't handle it.
I love the cheese.
Yeah.
I thought the Hawkeyes were such a fun odd couple.
Yeah, they had a real odd couple feel to them. You know what I mean?
Did. They were.
And we're talking about the show, not just people being odd opposite ends.
Yeah. There was I just find them just together. They're so opposite people, and they're very fun as a. I don't know if I'm missing a word here, but yeah.
But they were like, especially in the train part where like he's like, yeah, we really should walk the dog because it's your piece of spec.
I found every time Trick Hours showed up in this program, it just hit another level of funny. And
yeah.
Like it really,
especially with the Pym Tech, right, between the giant arrow and then the two bros in the fucking moving truck. God, I have to talk to Scott about that. Like, he didn't know what was going to happen next.
I was sitting there going, they're dead. That owl's going to eat them.
No.
Oh,
this is Marvel's way of making a Honey I Shrunk the Kids movie.
We're going to be following the bros around the place.
Yeah, you could do a 20-minute comedy short of just what happened then when they were small.
Oh my God, it'd be great. It was so, and it'll have to be like those two certain characters, you know, the guy with the girlfriend problems, which I thought was very funny as well. Like, trying to take her to Maroon 5, you know, now she's thinking of taking her friends. I thought she was going to take me. And I was like, this is brilliant. I love that.
I thought every aspect of this show worked, and it was a perfect package.
It was. And that's why I had my bro tracksuit on, because it was inspired for Christmas. It was inspired for Christmas because himself was like, we should dress up, you know, coordinate. I was like, yes, let's dress up on the same day. So I was like, get some tracksuits because we're watching Hawkeye. Now we're bros.
Echo was really cool.
Echo, I thought, was very well cast. I thought she was brilliant in it.
Yeah.
And the second you saw Echo, you should have started thinking, oh, we're getting Daredevil.
Yes.
When you saw the way the story was going, like, is there like, and you know she's getting a series. She is getting a series, by the way.
Yeah, she got a series.
Like, hashtag, like, he's a reflection of her, which only hit me recently because I'm stupid. Like, you know, she's a villain. No, thanks.
I'm glad you came to the conclusion.
You know, in the comics, she has the same powers as Taskmaster.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was reading up on. Yeah, and then she mimics the.
I feel like they were doing that to a certain extent in the show.
Yeah. They're doing it. They're doing a show don't tell thing with it. You know, she saw someone playing the piano, she just starts playing the piano. Like, but they never actually say in the series that she has it.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's cool. Like, she's a villain. He's a hero. She can't hear. He can't see. You know, she's female. He's male. He's, again, dark reflection.
Perfect match.
Always happens in comics. Yeah. But I loved like seeing Kingpin. And
I love seeing mid-90s cartoon Kingpin.
Yeah.
And the big
back to the source. Like.
Yeah, big Hawaiian shirt. And the thing is that what I felt different from the other show was that he felt like he was impenetrable to every hit.
He felt dangerous in the way,
Yes.
Because in that show, Kingpin used to beat the shit out of Spider-Man.
And I'm like, I read a lot of the kind of 60s, 70s comics, and like that he was a permanent threat to Spider-Man, let alone for Daredevil. Like, he was, and they had the cane. The cane was such an important. Yeah.
And the one thing I just loved about everything that he did was everything that he picked up as
was a weapon.
A weapon, and made it look small and dainty. That he had this whole impression that he could just do anything, kind of straight, like almost like a super soldier, which kind of freaked me out a bit when he got shot.
Oh, he's clearly superhuman in this version.
Yeah.
Clearly, like,
I'd already stick muscles out, Kevlar.
If anyone could afford one of those vials that went missing in Hawkeye and
that'll probably be the thing. He just got one of the vials off the power broker, and
because like he's not dead. I had seen no corpse.
You are. I don't want to insult anyone, but like, if you think Kingpin is dead after you hear a bang off screen, then I have a bridge in Dublin I'd like to sell you.
How much?
Cheap at half the price.
Good deal. No, I agree. I absolutely agree, because like they can't just one and done him like that in 2 episodes. No way. They'd be murder on the streets.
Marvel understand that they have a problem with killing off all their best villains. They're not going to keep doing it.
No. And they can't just like, clip the branches. No, we're not going to have that. Listen to me, Kevin.
Somewhere, somehow, there's a guy in an office whose job is to figure out a way to bring back David Tennant.
Yeah. How do I bring back these dead people?
There are things that people can do in fiction, though, that points of no return, where no matter how much you like the character, bringing them back becomes problematic.
That's what I mean. The guy's been 5 years and he still hasn't found out how to do it.
Yeah. I don't think Purple Man is making another reappearance.
Killing him was the silliest move they've ever made. He killed it in that role.
Yeah. Well, I am looking forward to seeing what the next. Well, we're not going to get a season 2 of Hawkeye, right?
Oh, right.
Because it's hard. Like it feels like we're always going to get like a season, and then maybe we'll think about another season. Well, we know we get Loki in a second season, and we know we're getting What If in a second season. But do we get Hawkeye in a second season? Like, are we going to see the Kate Bishop show now?
You don't know, because like season 2 of WandaVision is Agatha, House of Harkness.
Yeah, exactly.
So we might not get, as you're saying, you might not get Hawkeye
Name wise.
Yeah, you might get the Kate Bishop show with him.
Yeah, I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I thought this would be a one and done setup for Kate Bishop just being the new Hawkeye, and then that last scene happened, and now I have no idea what's going on.
But
it could still be that.
Who's his Brian? Who's his wife? Because this is
his wife.
She's definitely an Agent Shield.
Yeah, she's
and
Agent.
Yeah.
I doubt her name is Laura.
Is she Mockingbird?
I think they're trying. Right. So.
Okay.
They're being very cagey about the canonicity of the ABC MCU series.
Right.
Right. So Mockingbird is in them, and it's established early on because I watched first 3 or 4 series of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's established she at least knows Clint Barton, and she has a problem with him. So they get divorced, and they're not great friends for much of their time in Avengers West Coast.
Just say you like it, and we'll be done. Okay.
It's really bad, but I love it. So I think the implication is if you want this to be Mockingbird, it is. But we're not going to say that it's.
But it had 19 on the watch, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had 19 on the watch, didn't it?
Yeah. Let me just quickly check up if Agent 19 is. But that's what they're going with, I think.
Let's do the research, man. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. These tin hats, man. They're so heavy.
Agent 19.
Under services.
Agent 19 is also known as Mockingbird. She is meant to be Mockingbird.
So why would they give us the watch? Kevin, help. What is going on, Kevin?
Because I think Thunderbolts is happening. In my head, I'm like, is this just? There's a lot of things have hinted towards Thunderbolts, and this is another.
Well, you see, you've always thought Thunderbolts, and I've always thought Dark Avengers, and I know they're kind of, almost the same thing.
Yeah, but I think to me, Mockingbird isn't the Dark Avengers character; she's a Thunderbolts character.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I'm not sure. They did, as Tink was saying, they never called her Bobby.
Yeah, but
that's why I'm saying, like, maybe her name isn't Laura because she had to be completely scrubbed. Like, she's no longer part of the record. So if Shield's records all got released, she would have been on those. You know what I mean? Like, if we peel it back to Civil War, like.
Yeah, as I recall, they were really careful not to call the Bobby Morse character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Mockingbird. She was always Bobby Morse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they might have done, they do this sometimes, they take one character and pull it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, or take two and put them together. I really wish they'd clear up the canonicity of these old series now at this point.
Yeah, because it's getting a little bit loose.
Secret War is probably where this is all leading to, though.
Probably.
I think Secret War could be a good thing to do, either Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts.
And they're not doing Armor Wars anytime soon.
Like, well, Armor Wars
that is Secret Wars.
Armor Wars is the how do you fix the problem with Tony Stark?
Yeah. Tony Stark just fucks the world up, basically.
Yeah, and what do you do now? Who's the new Iron Man? It'll probably be somebody. As long as it's not Gwyneth Paltrow, I'll be okay.
War Machine.
Yeah, well, Don Cheadle is the star of Armor Wars. They've already said that, so it's going to be War Machine going around destroying all these people who are using Stark tech, as opposed to
until he finds the one person who's like, ooh, they're pretty all right.
Which will probably be Ironheart.
Yeah.
I just get rid of Gwyneth Paltrow, please.
I'm just wondering.
She's not coming back for a TV series.
My main question is if I'm gonna see the end of any kind of Marvel, any kind of thing, on this lifetime, because it feels like there's gonna be a lot of, like, we've seen the start of it from Iron Man 1, and now it's just branching like this, like it's going so far out.
That's the point of the multiverse.
The one thing I'm worried about is that some of these, although, like, obviously a lot of the storylines are coming from the comics itself, but if you think of it this way, if you're not a comic reader, you're not into comics, and you're seeing these, like, little things like, oh, you got my watch, and everyone's like, so why is the watch so important? But they never explain it. So a lot of people will be like, that was bullshit. I didn't like that at all because they never explained the watch, because I'm not going to pick up the comic.
We are in the YouTube era where people are like, what was the watch about? And then there's like 50 or 60
yeah.
videos of people explaining what the watch is about.
It tells the time. It's a Rolex. It was no. But yeah, that's what I find. Like sometimes with it, it's gonna be like you gotta know the lore to understand it. You know.
I think there's times they've went to
Like there's some parts of it where I was like, I had to like do exactly that. I had to go on YouTube, to go fishing for information, and be like, okay, so what's the crack with this? I need to understand that. Like, first of all, why is she speaking German? Like, when did this come out for Laura Barton? Like, it's a bit weird. So I get a little bit afraid of that kind of aspect of it, and how many goddamn episodes they're gonna be, and if I'm gonna see them all before I die. It's not a question, it's a statement of sadness. So anyway, Hawkeye, how many patties?
10.
10 patties. Jesus.
10. It's maybe my favorite thing I've seen all year.
I'm gonna give it a 10 as well. I fucking loved it.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because I found it a little bit too cheesy. Don't look at me with that judgment. I have my 8 patties.
No, I completely understand. I totally understand why people might find that cheesiness a little bit annoying, but it's everything I wanted. It's more Archer shows, please.
I was hoping to see a little bit more of a gritty, darker side of Hawkeye. Like they explain, like
string.
Yeah, but we explain like the darker side of like the whole Ronin part of it. As I don't know. I was hoping for that side of it, but it felt like more of the Kate Bishop show than the Hawkeye show. But I know that she's going to be the Hawkeye as well. But like,
it was just what I wanted from I wanted the Matt Fraction book.
Yeah,
that it's based on, and they did that, and I'm a happy Brian because
you got what you wanted.
Kate Bishop is in a lot of ways, Kate Bishop's like the leader of the Young Avengers. She's the one with her head screwed on most. I think introducing her as like she's had a great introduction. I'm so excited for whatever they do with Young Avengers. Genuinely. Oh,
they're all queued up now. Every one of them.
Not yet.
No, there's one that's missing. There's one that's missing.
Iron Lads, but
you have to. Kang is the big.
Yeah, but he's just a variant. It takes 2 seconds.
Just pop them in, like.
Actually, to be fair, Young Avengers starts with Iron Lad arriving here. The first Young Avengers comic is the first thing that happens is he lands back and tries to form the team.
Hulkling isn't seeded yet. I mean, they have Kree and Squirrel, so
yeah,
not hard, but he's the only one from the original gang.
But it's going to be a few years down the line before we start seeing stuff like this.
Aiden probably knows this already, but I only discovered this the other day. Kid Loki is a Young Avenger.
Yeah,
he's in the second book. I did not know that. I read the first series, never read the second. So
they have a really good grip of characters and that they can go for there. The next Miss Marvel movie will probably see Hulkling.
Probably.
Yeah. Because they've been pretty on the ball with getting these characters out there as quickly as possible.
But when is she out? Is she part of now the Marvels, or is it going to be Miss Marvel? Because it's so confusing that what way they were going with that. Because first they announced Captain Marvel 2, then it was the Marvels, and now it's Miss Marvel. Or is
I think Miss Marvel the series comes first, and then the Marvels film.
Yeah, because then we get to see Monica Rambeau and all. I'm hoping again.
Yeah,
she
was very good.
2023.
Yeah, and Miss Marvel's this year sometime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then we have what? This year we have. Okay, so what we have.
Oh, yawning. That's
Old man.
part.
So
we'll edit out.
After Moon Knight is Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Then it says Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Then we have Thor: Love and Thunder in July.
Okay.
And then in between, we have She-Hulk.
Yes.
That's between Thor and then Black Panther 2 is in November.
She-Hulk's going to be so good.
It is.
It's going to be amazing.
And hopefully, and I think Secret Invasion is going to be the December thing. And we also have Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special at some point this year.
And they reckon
during the holidays.
There's a lot of rumors about a secret extra episode, an extra thing coming to Disney Plus, which is a Halloween special.
Ooh,
yeah, I've been hearing about the specials. Yeah.
Might have a bit of the
A
old Blade.
Blade Halloween
I-
special
I-
would rule.
I put money on it. It'll be a Ghost Rider.
Oh, that'd be cool. I would love to know what to do with Ghost
They're
Rider.
building options because Black Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Midnight Suns thing.
Yeah,
Black
I think that's
Knight.
going.
Would have to.
Ghost Rider. That's what I would do. Who do you cast as Ghost Rider? After we had
already
the
have a cast.
wonderful,
Nicolas Cage.
wonderful Nick
They
Cage.
already have Ghost Rider
Bring him back.
cast. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Look,
But then again, Nick
I
Cage
wouldn't
is
fight it.
fantastic.
I would not fight it. I love Nick Cage.
He is. He's
Huge
great.
fan.
Right. Let's dive into the last situation.
Last one.
I hope She-Hulk is the law procedural that I want it to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Same here. Because I think it'll
Yes.
be. I think it'll be really good. Just it'll explain a lot to do with like Professor Hulk or even like Dr. Banner at this point. Because he's
I
not
want
big
there
Hulk
to
anymore.
be. I want there to be a scene where she has to go in and get a suit made. as
Yeah.
She-Hulk. I think that'll be
Hashtag
hilarious.
problems.
Yeah, exactly. I want there to be almost no superhero-ness to that. I want her to for her being a lawyer.
I want her to be defending superheroes who are
Yes,
out there
exactly.
destroying a building.
Her-
or something like.
her
Yeah.
giant.
Over the
Lawyer woman.
like the Sokovia Accords or some shit like
Yeah,
that. Following
something
up
like
on
that.
it. Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, let's
Let's do it.
let's ruin everything that I love right now. Okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all, before we dive into this, I'll tell you the tale of what happened. Okay. For months, we were all anticipating you, me, everyone.
Oh,
Tin
yeah.
hats were flying. Okay, tin hats are flying.
You should see our group chat.
Oh my God, the absolute heartbreak. But anyway, I sat down and I was like, I'm going to play Spider-Man video game and Miles Morales because just in case Easter eggs or anything else is in there, I want to be a completely mind melter with this. So, apparently lockdown was occurred and I had my tickets booked for the 19th because all of a sudden there was a lockdown and stuff had to close at 5 o'clock, which is fine. So you got one screening of Spider-Man a day. One. You only get one. Okay. I booked it for Sunday. I had it all planned. I didn't get the seats I wanted. I was happy. And then the lockdown rules kicked up a notch and they were like, so non-essential businesses won't be open for the next month. And then I got an email saying, unfortunately, your tickets have been cancelled. I was like, nah! I just sat there to scream the house down. And I had to sit there while I listened to you, and listen to you, and listen to you talk all the shit about the goddamn movie.
So F's in the comment section.
It was awful. I can't.
I feel so bad for you.
I
I feel
can't.
terrible
so
for you.
bad.
Genuinely do.
And like
Sucks.
in spite, like I'm not even like rebooking it. Like, oh yeah, but they have it in cinemas. Like, no, they had their chance. I know the
Sure, it'll
government
be-
and all, but they had a chance.
You can watch it in February and home. So, like, at this point, could you even be bothered?
I will be watching it again.
I'll be watching it again, yeah.
I'll be watching
So,
it again.
Oh,
Apparently,
it
the
was terrible.
cinema
Terrible.
release is supposed to be different to the streaming release because that's how spoiled I am. Yeah, yeah. They're improving the quality of what you saw in the cinema to what goes at home.
Okay.
Spoiler
So-
alert for streamers, by the way.
Andrew Garfield took his shot and he landed it. That's
Breaks
all
my
I'm gonna
heart.
say.
Mm.
Yeah, I know,
because
and I
he-
know he did. I know he did because everybody, right, from my perspective, I haven't seen the full movie. I don't know everything from scene to scene. I've seen dribs and drabs. I know what villains are there, just to give you an idea. I know how it ends, right? I know the post-credits, totally know about the post-credits. And I know about all the epic moments of how they arrive. So you don't have to worry about doing too much to hurt my feelings. My feelings have been hurt for fucking months.
He kills it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's
Apparently
my
nails it.
one of the big takeaways of the film was like I come out and go, oh my god, he nailed that.
Yeah?
Yeah, he is so good, and Marvel are so good at doing this at this point that he retroactively makes two absolutely terrible films kind of good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Ah,
kind of
one
want to
of-
go back and like, oh, there's a moment in the film. I'm still trying to not spoil it at this point. He's saying there's a moment in the film where he gets catharsis.
Gets
Something
his
happens.
redemption.
He gets redemption, yeah, and it justifies sitting through Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever go back and watch Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I won't either, but
From what I've heard about
I
them,
love
it
it.
means
No,
I
no.
didn't waste my time watching them.
like you explained to me how this film completely fixes Electro in a second.
Does it?
In a line.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He goes, I look really stupid over there. I look deadly here because I'm Jamie Foxx. Basically, is what he says.
Amazing.
That's it. Like and you're like, yeah, you're actually correct because you're quite a handsome man there, Jamie, and you're effortlessly cool. So
yeah, it doesn't
just letting
make
you be you.
sense why we went that direction. You're
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Oh,
And there's a great moment that we never got in the films with in the original films where Norman Osborn gets to talk to Doc Ock for 3 minutes. That's just
What?
brilliant. Yeah, they're just talking, and you're like, this is awesome.
Also,
This is-
another person who took his shot and killed it was Willem Dafoe.
I have a question. You know the because I don't care if anyone gets spoilers. I don't care, right? Because I haven't seen it either. People, I'm suffering just as much as you through this video. We're doing this together. The scene on the scaffolding that everybody rumored saying it was photoshopped or whatever. Is it in the movie?
Yeah, it's in the movie. That was real.
I knew it.
And
Liars.
the other one that was.
I knew it. I sat there for ages thinking, I was like, is it real? Is it not real? It's real.
The
Go
one,
on.
the photoshopped around the table, that's real too.
Oh, man.
That everyone thought was photoshopped.
And you know what? This doesn't really spoil me. This makes me so much more excited to see this. Like, I really
Well, that's
want to
good, at
see
least.
this. Because that's the thing about, like, even though, like, you guys were really concerned about spoiling things for me, I really can't wait to see this because I put so much effort into, like, doing everything in the back end to be, like, mentally ready for this moment that even the spoilers, like, yeah, cool. It's great that it's going to be, I know it's going to end in some kind of odd, positive, not really positive situation, but there's kind of light at the end of the tunnel. Fine with an aspect of something's going to skew off this way. Grand. But yes, I'm so delighted and excited to hear this. It's not even
I think
funny.
you're kind of like me in that there's a lot of times spoilers can make you more excited for something.
Yeah.
If it's something you really want, like
Like as long as it's like, yeah, because I already have the back end story of what happens in the Tobey Maguire universe. I know what happens in the Andrew Garfield universe. I know what Tom Holland's kind of up against and what his situation is. So it's not really spoiling me if they're rehashing, so to speak, different situations in order to provide a lesson at the end of the day, which is what it feels like it is. That they're kind of like bringing in these older experienced characters to walk them through these kind of like, you're going to go through a shit situation, you're going to have to bear with it, you know? But like,
I'm not sure. Are you aware of the shit situation that he's going through?
No.
Okay, I think I'll leave that one.
That's not something I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Some great meme lines in it though.
Okay. Yeah. Because I like it didn't make any sense if they're gonna bring back the Spider-Mans from like the exact moment, like if they're gonna bring them back, because there's obviously some kind of I don't know from the trailers where everything is fractured. So I was like, they could bring back the same fella from any kind of situation, I guess, or maybe a couple of years down the road. Like I don't know.
What I will actually say from the trailers is the trailers didn't spoil nearly as much as I thought it did.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, there is more. There's
way more to what's going on. Like the trailer, I thought the trailer was ruining the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah.
But there's way more to it than that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have spoiled or if you're aware of another thing that happens in it that was fairly big.
Well, if you don't mind spoiling it to the rest of the internet, I'm okay, I guess.
The rest of the internet knows because it's
just then go ahead.
Not people living in Holland.
Not people living in Holland.
Yeah, but there's spoiler warners, man. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well,
it's fine.
It connects to my viewing experience, right? So
go on.
I got up on Wednesday that Spider-Man was showing in Ireland, right? And this only happened in England and Ireland, the experience that I had.
Yeah.
Around midday, I took a break. I sat down. I watched episodes 5 of Hawkeye. I went, holy shit, Kingpin's in this for a second, right? And then I went to the cinema, sat down to watch No Way Home, and went, holy shit, Daredevil's in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that in the news.
But what a day!
That was
Yeah.
completely purposeful.
And you're like, oh my god,
Absolutely.
the universe is
Yeah.
speaking to me. No, they
Revealing-
just scheduled that. They
the
scheduled
fact
that.
that,
But
100%.
the only two countries in the world where you could do that were England and Ireland, because it was the Wednesday,
Yeah.
specifically the Wednesday that it happened on. Like, so that was.
So
an
everybody
awesome day
walked
for
out
me.
of the cinema having an absolute creamery. Like, just like, what did I
As someone who
experience?
thinks Charlie Cox might be one of the best cast people I've ever seen in a role, I'm delighted he's still Daredevil.
That's good.
And the fact that we have these two guys is they were hinting they were doing this with
D'Onofrio's Twitter.
yeah, like I was posting them every day, like, look at this troll, what an asshole.
I know,
But,
yeah.
yeah,
Jesus.
This
What a
is the
prick.
first time that they cast major characters. Do you know what I mean? J. Jonah Jameson, yeah, and Evan
Yeah.
Peters shows up, yeah. Ralph Bohner or whatever. Like, this is they're like, no,
But you
no,
throw in
these-
Charlie Cox and you have people bouncing.
yeah, and the internet they're delighted.
Because everybody was arguing about the whole fact of the basically any kind of TV universe ever was never going to be touched into any of
almost
the new
completely
stuff.
ignored.
Yeah, like, and that was always that bearing question in the back end. Like, I'm just wondering what else they're going to start pulling from.
I think we're still in a situation here where this doesn't confirm that these are the same character. Like, Kingpin
Yeah,
is
it'd
different.
be a different universe.
Yeah, they just look like them, I think, is what they're going with.
Because I think as well, John Bernthal should probably be kept as the Punisher.
Yeah.
I thought he was really great in that role.
I've forgotten her name now, but Jessica Jones. I would pour her right
Oh yeah,
in.
the girl Jessica Jones. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all of these characters could be using She-Hulk.
Yes, Jessica Jones
actually
is a good
could,
friend
yeah.
of She-Hulk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's a detective.
Punisher. Like, all of these
Punisher,
characters could be using She-Hulk.
You never know, like.
She-Hulk could be the perfect sequel to the Netflix universe.
Do you know how I was thinking of bringing Jessica Jones back? There is an arc for the Young Avengers where she gets given a job by the Bugle, basically to suss them out as a detective. But she kind of takes them under their wing as the only grown up in the room type of thing.
Teaches, yeah,
and teaches them. But it's funny because Jessica Jones is so like,
yeah,
you know, like with a bunch of kids
up.
around her. Yeah, and like the Netflix Jessica Jones is even more like that than the.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see that specific character in that situation. That would be awesome.
She'd be a great reluctant mother figure.
Yeah. Just hating every single second of this bullshit. Like, I'd pay money for that. I would pay a lot of money for that.
We'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Because I still think that first season of Jessica Jones is maybe the best thing that Netflix did with that license.
Open strong with that.
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
So I've got a question for you. Well, mainly for Aiden because he hasn't seen it.
Shut up.
Sorry. Well, out of 10, again, like how did you feel about this? Because I left it going like that was great, but like it didn't like earth shatter me like Infinity War did, or Guardians did, or Avengers. You know, these seismic shifts in the way superhero films are done. This was one of them, but I didn't leave with the same
feeling.
Yeah.
This was the worst analogy ever. This was like AEW's All Out pay-per-view from last year.
Where they just throw everything at the wall. Like,
it was all these incredible moments, and these are the things I'll remember in this film is specific moments, and almost all of them hit.
Yeah.
And the last one didn't. That hurts it for me.
Yeah.
The last one didn't hit for you?
We're not going to spoil it here, but I'm not a huge fan of the ending.
Neither am I.
I'm going to be on my knees crying now. What is it?
But I also think that I don't think
it's
it's
what they do.
A thing. I don't think it's a thing many people will care about.
If you're not knee deep in the comics, and if you don't care about the politics behind the scene, you will not care about the ending. If you're aware of either of those things, the ending sets off warning signs.
Yeah.
Well, that's vague.
I'm trying to be vague.
They did and as well as that, they do something that is very heavily reminiscent of a story that I'm not a huge fan of, and not a lot of people are a huge fan of.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was.
I also
Okay.
I have mates who've watched the film and really like the ending because they think it creates cool possibilities. But I don't even hate it. I'm more on. Let's see how this turns out.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
creates an asterisk on your enjoyment of it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, I agree. Yes, totally
but
agree.
99% of the film is exactly what I wanted. It's big cool moment after big cool moment, and people doing the thing and saying the line.
Really?
Yeah.
Was your cinema all verbal throughout the showing?
For the first time in my life, it was.
Yeah.
I've never had it happen. People cheered when the other two Spider-Men show up.
There was
I've
a
had-
small murmur in mine.
I've never seen that in
I've
before.
had it in this cinema plenty of times where people are really into it. Well, except for the one where I seen John Wick and then a fight broke out in the cinema. That's legit what happened.
That seems like it's a good. I like that
I'll have to
story.
tell you the story some other time. But like it was at the part where I can't remember which chapter we're at, but it was at the part where John Wick goes downstairs into this dungeon after a nightclub area or whatever it was, and you're one sitting there in the bath, and she's basically slitting her wrist, and it kind of that quiet moment. So we're going from that noise all the way down to that moment, but I couldn't understand. I was like, but why is there still fighting? Like, what is this? I turn around, people are punching the head off each other. And then another person gets involved, and then a little
The one
person got
film that-
involved, and then it
The
just all
group
went
fight
haywire
would
from there.
Start with John Wick.
The police got called. It was a whole thing. Like they made the break because they have obviously breaks in between. So they cue the break there. People were killing each other. I was screaming, "Get the hell out!" One guy tried to throw one guy over the edge, because the stairs, and there's a balcony kind of, and he's like it was really serious. I don't know what happened. But as one other guy was like, as they were fighting or whatever, because it started to accumulate more fellas, because as one guy tried to throw a fist, the other guy would move, and then he hit a girl, and then the same guy would do the same action, then he hit another girl, so you got two more fellas involved. So there's 4 or 5 lads, and then one little fella there was there as well. And then all the lads just kept fighting. It was great. And I was just, and it was me screaming, and then one guy was like, "Hey, shut up and sit down." I was like, "Do you really want yourself to be involved in this? Because I can scream at you too." And then he just turned right around. He's like, "Nope, not handling this." I was like,
Stay out of this one.
So when I say my cinema is, it's verbal and it was quite enjoyable. Yeah, they can get very enthusiastic at fight scenes. Yeah.
I've never seen people getting loud in a cinema until this film.
Oh yeah, and I even get emotionally swept away with it as well. Happened in No Time to Die for no reason. It was crazy. Of all movies, you're just sitting there, it's yeah, well, that's the end of it, not going to spoil it or whatever, people. And people are like, oh my God. People are verbal. I was like, whoa. Whoa.
Actually, no. Sorry, there was one other time. At the end of Endgame, some people started to clap, and then other people started laughing at them, and they stopped clapping.
Scarlet.
Oh, I love the Irish sometimes.
I just think that's, yeah.
I always want one of those people to be like, shut up, you Egypt. In a quiet place. I had that in the cinema in the States. It was great. 2 girls were burping. I think it was Fast and Furious. The 2 girls were burping, oh my God, it's so amazing. One guy's like, shut the up. I was like, fucking okay. I sit there and go I can't, this is great.
Oh, that's good.
But my God, yeah, one day I'll see No Way Home when I'm a big girl.
I can't
We'll
wait.
give you an episode just to talk about No Way Home
Yeah.
when we get to see it.
There'll be a nice
Thanks, guys.
big segment for you to
Just
wax lyrical.
The 2-second review or 5-second review. What's the tin hat theory? Right? Yes, and then that's it. Let's move on.
But yeah,
Well, yeah.
9. I would give it a 9.
You give it a 9. You give it 9 patties. What? Because of the ending or whatever it was, did it for you?
Yeah, because it's not perfect. It's really, really good, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, but what movie is 100% like?
Hawkeye.
That's not a movie, you tool. How many patties, Brian? Please save us. How many patties?
Thor 3 is the only
I'd
10.
probably give Thor 3
Oh,
I would
kitty cat.
probably give it 7.5.
Whoa! Why? Because your man coughed down your neck, or
That actually also happened in Spider-Man, and I nearly lost my head this time because they're like, I just want to go to a fucking film and watch some superheroes doing silly things without being worried about why are you always directly behind me? Are you following me? Since then, I now have a policy of sitting in the back row.
Yeah, because you don't want to have your back to it. Like, I don't feel comfortable having my back to a door.
It's insane. Anyway, yeah, I put an asterisk on this and say I was in a bad mood. I was forcibly in a bad mood watching this.
You'll have to go back and have a rewatch.
You definitely have to watch this again when it comes out, Brian. I think it's better than you think it is.
I wouldn't sit here defending my position on this. Do you know what I mean? Because I do.
It's obviously quite it weighs on you. It obviously the 7.5. You're like, it feels like an unfair mark, but I know the cinema has faults.
Yeah, I think I will love it when I watch it at home.
Maybe, and that's what I'm thinking as well. Because if the rumors are right that it's all updated, from what I see, there's different pictures and stuff out there. It might be a better quality because it's going to be the home experience. Obviously, it's going to be quite different to how you're going to be at the cinema. So I'd say it's going to be way better when you. What? No, it's not going to be on Netflix. It's going to be on Disney.
Every other Spider-Man film's on Netflix. Every single other one.
Yep. It's a Sony deal. But
it's a Sony deal. It won't be on Disney. How the hell am I going to watch my shit? Do I have to wait for a Blu-ray? Are we still using Blu-ray? Like,
that's Disney letting them away with not putting it on Disney Plus.
Listen to me. They're not going to put it on Disney unless, listen, you can't be doing this to me. Where is it? No Way Home. Streaming release
will come to Disney Plus sometime following its availability on Netflix.
But when is it going to be available on Netflix?
22nd of February.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're getting on Netflix. This is gonna be the dirt.
That's mad. I didn't realize that.
That was a question that was literally not even on the top of my list. Didn't even think about where the hell it was going to go because I assumed I had Disney. But then on Netflix, so many people on Disney Plus are going to be pissed because you probably don't like Netflix. It's going to be great. They should have put it on all the streaming platforms. I don't feel like... You're exhausting.
Right. I think I have to go.
Yeah, so I think we have to end it.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been great. It's been brilliant being back, I have to say. Really
shouldn't we have like a proper ending instead of saying goodbye to each other? Because I'm still recording, you know.
And so that brings us to the end of the podcast.
It certainly does. And Brian appears to be frozen my screen. So for those who enjoyed the channel so far, should make sure you hit the subscribe and little bell for the notifications to let you know when the next video is available.
Oh, very professional, very good.
And if you enjoy the content that we brought so far, you can find us on the Twitter machines. We'll post that in the links below and any other links that we talked about as well in below. And if you have your own opinions, how many paddies would you give some of the stuff that we missed out on 2021? If you don't know how many paddies, it's nothing to do with Ireland. It's to do with we're missing Paddy. So we're substituting him for the our ranking now at this point. So Paddy is our new ranking list.
I don't know if I could take 10 paddies. That'd be a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot, Paddy.
I don't know if anyone could take 10 paddies. You know what I mean? But yeah, we look forward to the next week, and we'll let you know what we're going to be covering soon as well, because there's going to be Genie Mac. What are we up for next? We're going to have to do a good full review on Moon Knight, though, the trailer, and break it down and talk about stuff maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe we'll pick a film or something, and a classic film.
Yeah, and make sure everybody watches it this time.
Did we ever get to talk about Blade?
Nah, I thought...
We'll just do Blade. Do we do Blade?
Let's review Blade, because we're getting a new Blade.
Yeah, we'll do Blade next week. Yeah.
I think the last episode ended with me choosing Blade for the next episode.
It did, yeah.
I watched it and I waited, and it's been a year, I
have to watch it again. I
have a great copy of it downloaded.
Oh my god. Right, I'll stop the recording.
Oh, it looks
okay.